just be politicians be.
My name's Kale. I went to school at Feather River College and I got a 2-year degree in agriculture. Figured that's a good way to find time to be outside, make a living doing that. And this is my fine horse, Jimmy Buffett. Well, sometimes we gotta move cows around, and you could run around out there on foot, and that'd be kind of cool, but you'd probably spend the whole day running around, getting tired and never getting anything done. And a lot of places there's too much water and mud and rocks and cliffs, and quads and four-wheelers just don't work. So we still need horses to get a job done. It's still the best way to do it. Keeps the cattle calmer too.
And what's your job here? Like, where are we right now?
We're in Melville, Montana, which is north of Big Timber, Montana, which is kind of in the middle of the southern part of Montana.
And what's the name of the ranch?
This is the J Bar L. J Bar L has 3 ranches. One of them is called the Cinch Buckle Ranch, and that's in the southeastern corner of Montana. One of them is called the Centennial Ranch, and that's in the Centennial Valley, Montana. And there's another one of the J Bar L ranches up north of here, about 30 miles.
And what does this one specialize in? How many
growing
head of
grass
cows do
and
we
growing
have?
cattle. It depends on the year, but I think for the most part, if we don't get any rain here, then there's a good chance we've got a lot of rain at one of the other places, so the cows are going to go there instead. We're here, if we have a really good year and we get a lot of rain, that means the grass is going to grow really good. And if the grass grows really good, then the cows are going to come here and be able to eat it. A lot of people feed hay to their cows in the winter, and we do too, but feeding hay to cows is a good way to make sure they stay healthy through the winter. However, making hay or buying hay is a lot more expensive than just getting the cows to eat grass. So here our cows are specialized in being able to find that grass in the wintertime, and that's what they do best. And what we have to do is make sure it's there for them to find.
Bachelor's in equine and ranch management from Feather River College, and I went to school to work with these guys and cattle, and I got my associates in agriculture from there as well. And the cool thing about what I get to do is I just get to be outside every day. This guy here, we use him at J Bar L to feed hay once in a while, and you can see by his enormous size that it comes in handy. And the rest of them in here, we use them, or the family here uses them routinely to doctor cattle. And my degree, that's kind of what we specialize in, is just taking care of cows and making sure everything's healthy. Because the most important thing in our industry is making sure the land and the cattle are healthy so we can provide for the rest of our country. So my whole life I wanted to do something with animals. I didn't know what it was, but figured it out pretty quick once I went to school. So I'll just tell you a little bit about this pen here. This is our sick pen, and we've got a little bit of everything in here. And some of them aren't sick, but we're just keeping an eye on them so that they'll grow up to be healthy. So if you follow me over here, this guy over here, and that's called liquamycin, and it treats the disease and makes it so that eventually that eye will heal up. But his was bad enough we had to shelter it from the sun. And so basically all that is a patch of my old jeans glued on just with a little flap, and eventually that glue will come apart and it will fall off when the time is right. And so we'll just keep up on him. This calf is about 6 days old. And that's her mommy right there, and the mom is having a hard time taking her. So that means that she won't naturally raise her calf. She does things like throw her head and kick, and it's just not working out as a pair. So we have to put her in this deal. It's called a head catch. It keeps the cow and the calf safe, and us. And we just keep things as low stress as possible. And we do this so that the calf can get some of that natural milk from her mother instead of feeding her from a bottle every day. But as you can see, she's very friendly. We're gonna get her up in there to suck. And so this is a heifer, and you see her ear tag, it's 8072. That means she was born in 2018, and this is her first calf. So sometimes heifers will have a little bit harder time the first time around with their calf. And when that happens, it's just not a good idea to keep them around, because you want to keep things as natural as possible. You don't want to be touching their calves all the time, but this little girl is just getting a different lease on life because she thinks I'm her mother. All right, so you can see her start to kind of nurse on those teats there. And this is a very small frame cow. At J-Bar-L, we're going for that smaller frame of cattle because it's less feed input and it's less stress on the cow and the land. And there you could see her kind of kicking. That's why we have that rope on her foot. And it goes to there. And it's not too tight to hurt her, but it's just tight enough so she doesn't hurt her calf.
Yeah, this way she won't be able to kick her calf. If she kicks her calf, then her calf's gonna get pretty upset about that, and she's not gonna want to nurse off of any cow.
Yeah, our hope is that we can find a cow that we can, it's called grafting the calf on, so that will be her next mommy. But so far we haven't had the right cow for this little baby. Something to add about this calf is she's probably the most vigorous calf that we've seen.
She wants to live.
She's really fighting to live. Sometimes you'll get, we call these bottle babies because eventually you have to start feeding them from a bottle when you can't do this every day. But those calves don't have a ton of energy and will to thrive, so we call this vigor, because you could see the way that she's sucking each teat. She doesn't just go for one. It's really hard to see in there, but she's going for each of them. And she'll suck that bag dry, and if it doesn't seem like she's getting enough, we'll give her a bottle later. But this cow has kind of a smaller bag, so
Doesn't make a lot of milk.
yeah, she doesn't make much, and that could be why she's not taking her for whatever reason. Maybe sometimes nature just takes over.
Michelle Vardy, and I am a senior vocational rehabilitation counselor. And I'll tell you a little bit more about what that means as soon as I tell you about how I got there. After high school, I transferred. I started at Victor Valley College, and I got my associate's degree. When I was finished with that, I went to Chapman University and got my bachelor's in social science. And then I went to California State University, San Bernardino, and got my master's degree. My master's is in rehabilitation counseling. A lot of people hear rehabilitation counseling, they think drug and alcohol counselors, but I am a vocational rehabilitation counselor. And what we do is I work for the state of California. I work for the Department of Rehabilitation. I administer vocational rehabilitation services to individuals with disabilities that are seeking employment, independence, and equality. So we offer counseling, training, job skills, job placement services. Some of the counselors in my office specialize in working with individuals that are blind, visually impaired, deaf, or hard of hearing. My caseload is specific to the mental health population. So when you think of disabilities, most people picture maybe somebody in a wheelchair, and those are what we call visual disabilities. You can tell that that person has a disability by seeing them. So when you hear individual disability, what is it that you think of? Take a minute and think about what an invisible disability might be. So there's several types of invisible disabilities. They might be fibromyalgia, even cancer. They could be a learning disability, a form of ADHD or ADD. Maybe somebody who had a brain injury now has an invisible disability. You can't tell that they have something that affects them by looking at them, unless they tell you or you get to know them. But some of the caseload that I work with have indivisible disabilities, which might be schizophrenia, bipolar, depression, anxiety, and those types of things. And I won't get too much into that, but I really enjoy my job. I love helping people. We like to say that we're kind of leveling the playing field for individuals with disabilities to give them equal opportunities and just to be a good resource for them, someone to help support them and guide them in their journey in life, whether it be going to school or just getting a job based on their disability and the degree of what they're looking for in life, just to help them be successful. So thank you for having me. I hope you enjoyed that. Have a good day. Bye.
Hi, my name is Laura Vasquez, and I worked for the gas company for 32 years. The last 10 years as a dispatcher, scheduling work to the distribution crews, installing gas lines and repairing gas lines. I also worked with fire department, police department, and supervision on emergency lines, hit lines, gas blowing. But I always had a passion for animals. And after helping a friend purchase her first horse, I saw so many animals abused and neglected. I decided to open up a rescue. I am now the co-founder and president of Goldenhearts Livestock Rescue. Here's a few of our horses that we have rescued. This is Kid. His owner passed away. He needed some love. He's in the process of getting trained, and most of our animals get adopted within a few months. This is another horse. This is Star. Say hi, Star. And she's been here a few months. So if you'd like to volunteer or help out at a rescue, check us out on Facebook under Goldenhearts Livestock Rescue. Years old. Okay, now it's Byron.
Hello everybody, my name is Brendan Holm. I am going to college to be an aerospace engineer right now. I also have an internship at a company called Drake Cement. So it's a cement plant in Paulden, Arizona. What an intern is normally a student that has connections through the college and that company, and they are hired so that they can get a lot of experience and they can also help that company out for a little while. So what I'm doing there is I'm working on the bill of materials. So this bill of materials helps all of the personnel on the plant, no matter what they're doing. They can look in and see all the parts that are going to the corresponding equipment so that they can be replaced easily if they break. So I have to go around the equipment, I have to go around the plant and verify that equipment, and I also have to go through a lot of engineering drawings. It's a lot of complex stuff, and there's a lot of details to each piece of equipment that I evaluate. So you also see me wearing a mask in a minute, and I'll be on top of the preheat tower, and the reason why I'm wearing a mask is just because we're in this current dilemma, and we just love to be safe. So I'll see you guys up there in a minute on the preheat tower. Hello everybody, here I am up on top of the preheat tower like I said I would be. So I got my steel toe boots, my protective eyewear, my hard hat, my gloves. We're really serious about safety out here, and rightly so, because look up where I am right now, really high up. So down there, that is the kiln. So the kiln is where the material is heated up and it's cooled in this cooler right here. And that actually comes from Germany. So a lot of these big pieces of equipment, they come from all over the world. A lot of different ideas all over the world. So we're pretty diverse here with that kind of stuff. So it's also stored, this clinker that comes up from the preheat tower. That's where I am right now. It's stored after it goes through the kiln and the cooler. Now after that it goes through some other processes and eventually can be sold to our customers. Now I was up here trying to search for some equipment, but it turns out that it was actually inside these bucket elevators, so I can't get to it. So at some point, I'm gonna have to open them up and look inside and figure out what that piece of equipment is, so if it goes out, we can get it replaced. So I'm heading back down from the preheat tower, and it's really windy out here right now. It's always pretty windy up here, but what I'm looking at right now, those are the belt conveyors. They come from the quarry. It's where we get all of the limestone for the cement. And this is the beautiful area that the cement plant is in. And I'm waiting for the elevator. It's all the way down there now. So it's gonna be a while till I go back down. Well, here I am at the end of the day. Finished my day of work. I hope this was an eye-opening for you guys. It certainly was an eye-opening for me to be working at a cement plant, because I'm going to space. I'm not going to space. No, I'm going to be an aerospace engineer. That's way different than what I could be doing with cement. So it's interesting that I have this job. I think it's pretty cool. I hope you guys do too. I hope you guys have a good one. Thanks.
Be astronauts, be champions, be truth seekers, be students, be teachers, be politicians, be preachers.